become a #1 playing regularly Bundesliga. He had his problems in his first season. Then they brought in Labrovic to replace him because they weren't happy with how Damen performed. But Labrovic wasn't that #1 that Augsburg wanted either. And then Damen, in the meantime, he really developed, he got stronger, and he overcome these difficulties. And since then, since he's back in the goal, he did some great games, and now got ultimately the call-up for the national team. And that is what Nagelsmann said, that he had to overcome difficulties, and he did very good with that. And as we know, in Germany right now, we got a bit of problems in the goal with Manuel Neuer. Probably soon he's going to retire. Who knows? Ter Stegen, he's out with a long-term injury, and problems at Barcelona as well. So there is space for new goalkeepers now to get into that role, and he's get the chance now with his call-up to show himself, to present himself, and maybe make the next step in his career.
Here is Jakic, who's going to get the ball back again now. Jakic forced all the way back. Haven't quite got on top yet. Jakic and Masengo in that central midfield area for Augsburg. Glanced away by Wolf. Of course, at the other end, there is Manuel Neuer, who did retire from international football. Thomas Müller said recently he wouldn't be the least bit surprised if maybe he was considering reversing that. Here's Masengo, pulling it across and, well, fancying a shot from the edge of the area. Not quite getting that right.
Yeah, and everything starts with a long ball from Damen. I like that because Bayern, they are a team who are pressing extremely high. The defenders, they're going all the way up to the midline. And then when you have a goalkeeper with a long, that can hit the ball long and play behind the defenders, then they have to run all the way back, and then spaces are created. And this is the strategy, I think, when Damen has the ball, this is what they want to do. And yeah, and then it's fighting for the second ball, and then things can happen. So this is something that is a clear strategy when Damen has the ball and Bayern pushing up very high.
Diaz, it's advantage Bayern, and here's Gnabry. Back goes Goretzka, the deeper of the two at the moment. A real comeback from him. Looked like he was on his way out. There's a lovely early ball. Stanisic, another example of fullbacks getting high. Here's the other one, Konrad Laimer. Goretzka was supposedly not wanted by his top of the club, but he dealt with it with professionalism and dedication, didn't speak out, didn't moan, and has won his place back, both for club and country. Kane, and provides a hugely important platform. Gnabry forces it out wide. Olise's waiting here and gets it back. Tar. Not quite the earliest ball there, so Stanisic was caught out. There's so many overloads by him because both fullbacks are essentially, well, one's a winger at the moment, one's a central midfielder. Here is a right winger in Olise, up against Janulis, trying to keep tracks with him. There's that lovely little ball across the edge of the box, which Kimmich can't quite bring under control.
Yeah, and you can see that Laimer, once Bayern is in attack, he's really becoming a midfield player. You can see then in the back line that Goretzka is pulling back next to Tar and Upamecano, just to have this coverage for counters. And like this, they have a fantastic positioning, and then it's very difficult to get into the duels for Augsburg, so they have to set in a bit deeper block. But they're doing well so far. They condense everything. They don't give much spaces in that regard. So when Bayern has possession, Augsburg, they're doing a good job keeping Bayern away.
Not far off the midway point of the half so far. It has been enthralling stuff. Bayern on top, certainly with the ball in the territory. Augsburg hanging on there. And a little bit more secure in their position in the game than they might have been 20 seconds in when Luis Diaz controlled the ball with the outside of his right foot almost on the goal line rather than tapping it into an empty net. Lima with defending to do now, and he's not quite been able to do it. Giannoulis has wriggled away. The referee's happy that there's nothing untoward there. I mentioned Bayern's work rate. Olise has been back there to help out on a number of occasions.
Yeah, but this is something, Jonathan, the top teams these days, the top coaches these days, they expect their wingers to track back, and the best example is PSG. The way they track back is fantastic, and Mbappé, for example, he wasn't the one who liked to track back so much, and yeah, we all know the story. PSG won the Champions League, and that was certainly one of the reasons, because the wingers, they were defending very well.
They were at pains to point out this week there is no release clause in Michael Olise's contract, because it is that time of the window when clubs are still looking for game-changing players.
I can guarantee you that Bayern will never gonna sell him this window. This is not gonna happen. I've seen a lot, but this is not gonna happen.
No, not with the lack of available options at the moment on the bench. No Kingsley Coman, he has departed the club as well. Here is Lima. Augsburg have been sensible with their recruitment. Their budget are much more modest compared to those that Bayern are able to call on. We might see a couple of them on the bench. Here's Goretzka. Let's have a look at just how quickly both sides pick up the ball when they lose it. Bayern haven't lost it too often, but when they have, it's very, very quick to win it back. It's much harder to win it back from Bayern if you're Augsburg. There's a free kick. And Felhaar's looking aggrieved, not as aggrieved as him.
Yeah, very high ball recovery time. 20 seconds is a lot. 14 seconds is also quite a lot. We've seen a lot lower numbers. But from Augsburg's point of view, it's that they don't have so much possession, and the idea is then to play rather longer balls and come behind the defense of Bayern, and then it's very difficult to have recovery because they're just not there to press straight away to win the ball back, and then they rather fall back into a lower or middle block. So that's why the recovery time is very high here for Augsburg.
And there's one of those that you mentioned, a long diagonal from Haulea. The skipper out from the back, didn't reach Elias Saad. Manuel Neuer able just to change his angle of approach very, very quickly. And suddenly Bayern have beaten that first press and off they go. Up and over halfway. That was far too easy to try and thread that behind for Olise, and Kane does it back here. Harry Kane, without a pop at goal as yet. And he hasn't even got himself a free kick here. Here is the aggressor, according to the referee. Jakic down. Not much in that.
Well, down on the ball, I haven't seen anything. I think he put his hand into Jakic's face. I think that was the reason, rather than hitting him somewhere down on the ankle, because there was not really something.
They have beaten Bayern here, Augsburg. They've had less joy in Munich, but Bayern, at the same time, have won 10 of their 14 Bundesliga visits. Their highest win percentage against any side that they've visited more than 10 times. September 22, the last win here for Augsburg. It is possible
Well, from the last 4 games here, they lost 2, Bayern. So this is always a difficult place for Bayern to come. Usually very tight games. And like I mentioned, from the last 4, Bayern lost 2 here.
Augsburg were out of the blocks quicker the last time they came. But then it was Musiala Kane and a Matsima own goal, as well as a red card for Cedric Zierziger. Lima, another good break down the right-hand side, just squeezes it through to Goretzka. Now Kane looks to size it up. Oh, that's a brilliant ball and a fabulous header. Harry Kane, the provider. And Bayern are up and running. Serge Gnabry rising high. And on his 100th appearance, the number 9 chips in a sumptuous ball for Bayern to take the lead.
Harry Kane bana, dakika 27 anaongozesha watu hapa hivi sasa wakule unono sasa. Pesa imeanza kuonekana, ha?
He's taken the ball forward, he's finding them. Olise and then
imekuwa ni believable bana. Hata gola ameshindwa hiyo.
If Gnabry doesn't head it, then it's Lima just behind him. And from that distance, there's not much for the goalkeeper to do, because it's not savable.
Vincent Kompany called him a hugely underrated player with very few weaknesses this week. It's his first goal of the season, and it underlines just how important he is. They got lucky in the build-up with the ball almost cut out by Masengo. Once they did, they certainly made the most of it.
Well, there was a lot of intensity in the first minutes. A lot of running for Augsburg, and I've seen the last 5 minutes a bit of lack of concentration, some sloppier balls, because when the intensity is so high, then these things can happen, and Bayern brutally...
Correct score, 3-1 Bayern. 3-1, mtu wangu, pesa iko hapa, pesa iko hapa. Before mabao ziongezeke, kimbieni mchukue hizi monyo bana.
That's a match-up and a battle worth watching. Lima committing the foul on that occasion, but Lima helping Bayern get on top. Diaz, who might have put them on top 20 seconds in, and there's another uncertain.
Naona tulipea Bayern mtu mkali, Diaz, tuliwauzia tu pesa kidogo, tu sasa inafaa warudishe change.
In the back from Janulis, who is waving Michael Olise up. The referee was right behind it, and Florian Exner said no. Maybe not quite enough on the ball.
Hadi yenye iko nje inarudishwa ndani.
Give Olise an easier task. Stanisic charges it down, has a similar position here. Can't quite get enough on it either, but he's toe-ended it away, and Havelev is going to be penalised with a yellow card for his reaction too. They're just starting to lose a little bit of composure.
Yeah, it is a foul at the end from Raveleo, so it's a very...
Amekulwa kwa kidole kidogo, anamwambia tulia wewe, kwa nini unatufunga bao zote utaki hata si tulipize bana.
5 minutes. And Olise here, he felt something, he thought, he's gonna push me, I'm going for the penalty here. It wasn't much. Maybe they're gonna review, but I think the referee did a good job here.
3-1 bana. Augsburg wanajikomboa moja, Bayern wanaongezea 2. Correct score 3-1. Nani anataka pesa?
Back in this game.
So over comes the referee. He's chatting with Vincent Kompany.
Wanataka kuangalia kayo hiyo penalty itakuwa under check ama itaachiliwa iende hivyo.
As we've seen also already in the replay, I think the referee made a very good call here.
And it's good that he comes over
Foul bana, ameambiwa penalty wasahau aende kwao.
For any kind of chat from Kompany. Darman with organisation to do. You saw that Schlotterbeck had a card there. Holeo was the one treading on the boot. So here's the free kick. Joshua Kimmich is going to play it short. Here's Diaz with the outside of the boot. Goretzka was waiting. Jonathan Tah is waiting here. Now Lima. Jakic away. Kimmich again. Now he's under pressure from Sal, and that's really good work from Elias Sal. And now Augsburger on the front foot, but he's running down a cul-de-sac here. He's picked up the ball, and I'm not sure that's going to go his way. It isn't, and here come Bayern. And what looked a potential breakaway never really came to anything. Lima. Covered an awful lot of ground so far. Kane on the far post, Diaz in the middle. Lima down the edge of the box. Here's Olise to go low, pushed out by Darman. And behind by Maxima. With Kane lurking.
Yeah. Only one situation. When Olise makes the shot, good parry here from Darman. And then Maxima was against two Bayern players. If the cross comes on the second post, he would have been in trouble.
They have to put it behind again. Tossed in by Olise, put away by Jakic. And it's Bayern turning the screw and looking for goal number 2. Sandro Wagner down on his haunches, getting a good view of this set piece. Tah waits just by the spot. Luis Diaz in front of him. Upamecano there as well. The referee's gaze is drawn though to the goal line. And Kane and Janulis and Goretzka are making life difficult for Finn Darman. There's a little push on Gnabry. Now they break. Darman has to punch. Neuer. Distribution good as ever. Olise. As hard to pin down as ever. He's shown too much of that to Mazingo.
Yeah, they got away here with the foul, but you can see now Bayern is taking control of this game, and Augsburg, because they put a lot in the first minutes, a lot of meters and a lot of intensity. They need a little bit of air. Seems like they are pumping a lot at the moment. They need to try to have a bit possession, keep the ball in their own ranks. Spain again a long ball, so they will lose it again. So that costs a lot of energy yet again. All the team has to come forward, and it would have been better just to get some passes together.
You can get involved here with the man of the match. The voting starts late on in the game. You can do it via the official Bundesliga app. Here's Josip Stanisic. Lovely break from Bayern. It has to be Jakic to make the touch, and he does, and he certainly enjoyed that. But there was a big hole right down the middle of Augsburg's defence once again.
Yeah, and on the right-hand side of Augsburg, now we can see Wolf, who's the one on the right-hand side. He should cover that space. Bayern is exploiting that in the break, in the transition. They find a lot the left side, and then from there comes the ball towards the middle. Augsburg is far off.
Tuseme tu ukweli, leo Man-U ameangukia. Yaani Man-U, Manchester United wanakuanga aje, tuseme tu ukweli. Man-U hakuna siku mtajijazia tu lazima muangukie. Haisuru, acha tuongojee pesa, au sio? Ya hapa hivi tunaona Bayern wanaongoza. Na unajua bado kuna pesa tunangojea. Sporting Lisbon, hiyo ndio game ya pesa mapipo. Sporting Lisbon, hiyo ndio game ya pesa. Pia Sporting kichwa, ngojea Mukuchu. Ingia hapo Betika ama hapo Odibet, fanya mambo watunguya, zaribu mambo, tunakula pesa leo. Kwani unagoa? Yeah, bora msikue Maguire. Unaona Maguire alikuwa karibu apigwe lakini akachoma waya akafunga wakaomoka. We, Manchester, chungeni sana bana.
You have to say. Still a little bit of chat, but it looks like his game might well be over. He's not a direct replacement. Here he is trying to sprint back. And there he is, in trouble. Organisational work to do for the new coach. Rex Bashaya, a central, more attacking midfielder, rather than Marius Wolf, who plays in wide areas. And that's the end of his game.
Well, Rex Bashaya, who's coming on, he's not a right back, he's actually a midfield player. I think, from what I've read, they're still in the market to find a right back exactly for these situations. They only have Wolf on that position at the moment. So no, Rex Bashaya has to play a role that he can play, but certainly is not his best position.
Let's see how they manage it. He came on for the last 20 minutes on match day 1. Now he gets a little longer. Here's Tar, player who has been at the club a while now.
Well, in fact, it looks like that he has changed now the tactics. It looks like they are 4 in the back now. Matsima is on the right back position, and Chaboleo, Schlotterbeck, and on the left side, Giannoulis. And Rex Bashaya goes in the middle. He wants to close the middle, get another man in there.
Six minutes to go, of normal time at least. We'll get some stoppage time, not least because of that substitution and injury for Marius Wolf. Olise for Kane, always willing to drop deep and link things up. Luis Diaz. Kane central. Kimmich. Lima. Real whip on that. Matsima away. Stanisic. A long way away. Up top it goes. Not a name you see too often on the score sheet for FC Bayern. His last goals came when he was on loan at Bayer Leverkusen in their title season. Another contrast between perpetual motion on the left and stoicism on the right.
Yeah, now you can see it very good. Matsima now in the right back position here on the touchline now. He changed formation. He realized that on the wings they are too open. Bayern is just too good with Diaz and Olise to use these spaces.
That was a lovely teasing looking ball again from Lima, and Giannoulis had to read it and get there. Jakic, they've been able to get the second ball. Will they get the throw? That's what he wants here. Well, you can't imagine their expected goals tally is too high, Augsburg, with only 4 minutes to go. Maybe not Bayern's either, actually. Both these two outperformed that by such a significant margin on match day 1. Augsburg will have to do so again. That should be easy for Neuer, who obviously thought it got a deflection. It did, because he can't keep it in, and it is a corner, and that's something. Chance to bring those players forward who can cause trouble from the back. Schlotterbeck and Chaboleo in particular. Matsima coming through as well. man up top, Kumu, is once again the man charged with delivering the corner. And that's a better one. It's gone all the way through, and Gnabry has to shepherd that out under pressure from Javier. I see a little nerves jangling at the back post through the legs of Lima.
Yeah, Upamecano missed here the header, and then the ball drops down on the second post, and Javier, I think it is, almost got there through the legs of Lima. But good cover here from Gnabry, puts his body across that he can't touch the ball. Good work here.
They'd welcome a strong finish to the half. Kuma's corner. Harry Kane sees it out. Same again for Augsburg. Despite their lack of threat so far from wide or even forward areas, and the lack of action from Manuel Neuer, it would only take one little moment. Harry Kane ensures it isn't here. Mazengo. Diaz showed good strength there to keep the ball and keep it alive, and Stanisic is off and running. Calm from Findama. Calm too from Giannoulis, who got there first. Him too much, but he is, well, he was the target for that. It is misplaced. Hasn't really got into it on his home debut.
Wacha tukubali tuseme tu imeenda hivyo first half. Tujue mambo ni swalehe, lakini tujue hatuna kelele, tunasaka ganji bado, au sio mapipo? Siku zombo bana. Let's see here mambo ni gani.
Seconds of normal time to go. The word from the touchline is an additional 4 on the end of that before we can have a half-time break. Neuer this time mixes it up, goes long, trying to release Diaz. Schlotterbeck back to his goalkeeper. There we go. 4 minutes. Signalled by Lars Erbst. Jakic picks it up. Only one thing on his mind, because the space is all on the left for Giannoulis. There's a run, which actually would have been better served as a decoy run, I think, by Alex Bishai. Still not much in it. You don't need a sub getting injured, not when he's done just come on, Elvis Alex Bishai. Drawing in the player before delivering it expertly. There's a nutmeg from Gnabry. Lima. Down goes Olise. Free kick Bayern. It's the sort of position Augsburg really don't want to be conceding set pieces. Clumsy from Saad. It was bypassed by Gnabry in the first place. Gives you a good overview of exactly where Manuel Neuer stands on these kind of situations. in case he needs to mop up. Kimmich preparing. Olise the target. Different kind of angle. And Darman just got maybe a finger on it. Nodded back by a Bayern head. Out comes Sandro Wagner. How much encouragement do you think he'll have seen, Kerry, based on this first half?
Well, it didn't work out, the strategy that he had, pressing Bayern high from the build-up of Bayern, because Bayern were a few times able to get through that press, and then always very dangerous situations occurred. And then that was a lot of running for the Augsburg players as well, and then you just don't have the energy then to remain calm and composed on the ball, get some balls, some passes together, and yeah, Bayern took over control and scored the goal, and then Augsburg, they could have conceded the second one easily, but it wasn't yet, so they are still in the game, Augsburg, but they have to make a few adjustments at halftime.
Handball. Yeah, 3 shots from Augsburg, none of them on target so far. We're into the last minute of the allotted 4. Manuel Neuer, apart from playing out with his feet and taking restarts, has been largely underemployed. Here's a lovely little ball, Leimer, here's the cutback, and there's the second. And Luis Diaz does get it this time. A glaring miss in the opening 30 seconds. But in the final 30 seconds,
ndio hiyo sasa, simeona correct score ya 3-1 iko inakam. Bayern ni moja, waongeze moja, Augsburg wajiulizie moja. Watunguye pesa oyo.
Leimer, they don't know to pick him up. He's going behind the defense, runs in the channel, gets the ball, finds Diaz in the middle, and it's 2-0.
Well, he rather spoiled his average of 2 goals from 2 efforts with that early miss, but it's 3 goals from 4 efforts, and still hugely impressive by Bayern's new signing. Yeah, and a brilliant way for Vincent Kompany's men to round things off.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to have Luis Diaz involved straight away.
Vijana wa Premier League leo wamefanya mambo, inafata tuwasifu ama au sio mabuda. Vijana wa Premier League wenye tulirusha Bundesliga wamefanya kazi. Inafata Bayern warudishe chai Premier League sasa, au sio mapipo. Crazy here. Mambo ni swale. Beti iko sawa. Beti ijaungua. Bado tunasaka ganji, tuko ganji au sio? Watu wangoje pesa bana. Wacha ni ilole kwanza. Nangojea tu bao moja. Moja kijiulizia. Si mambo ndio hiyo sasa. Kamengada mtu wangu wewe. Hii kagame kanaenda swalehe mtu wangu wewe. Rada gani? Mapipo, siku zombo bana kama kaa. Saka ganji. Hadi mshwari tunafika, umejua si akina nani. Tutamani bado ya. Tunakataza hadi warazi.